up in this bitch, a bunch of killers and humble trappers. I can go to Hollywood to core in this jungle acting with niggas that'll smoke you, go and murder you.
Introduce the hard-hitting challenger from Riverside, California, the Riverside Rocky, Josesito Lopez. Jose?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be showcasing my talent skills here in Brooklyn, and I thank Teacher Promotions, Fox and Fox Deportes for having me, and you won't be disappointed Saturday night.
We're still waiting for Keith to get on, so let's open it up for questions with Jose.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Our first question is going to come from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, Josesito.
Hey, Dan Raphael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. My question for you is this. I mean, you've been in fights with a lot of big names over your career, and, have fought well in some of them, lost some of those fights against the best guys, but it seems like Thurman is one of the best names you'll have faced, but you're catching him coming off, I think it's almost exactly a 2-year layoff. Do you feel like coming into this fight that you're kind of getting him at the opportune time?
You know what? I'm not expecting that or counting on that. I prepared for the best Keith Thurman that I've seen. I think it's not easy coming back from a layoff. I know that myself because I was myself in a 2-year layoff about 2.5 years ago. So I know the feeling. I know the obstacles that you have to go through physically and mentally. So I can't assume it'll be easy. But either way, no matter what, he chose the wrong opponent to come back to, and I'm going to prove that.
So I was thinking, do you get at all offended that there are a lot of fans out there that say, oh, Thurman, he's been one of the best welterweights for a long time. He's coming back off this layoff. So, obviously he's taken a quote-unquote easy guy to come back to. Does that sort of discussion irritate you, offend you, or just make you more motivated to go do what you have to do? What's your point of view on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it offends me. I mean, there's a lot of casuals that don't understand the ins and outs and then don't realize what I bring to the table. So, no, it's not bothersome, but to a lot of people, to those people that are thinking that way, it's going to come as a surprise. But for the people that really know boxing and that really know the inside of my camp and my training, it won't be a surprise when I pull off the victory.
So my last question is, what is it that you have to do and excel at on Saturday to be able to turn back Keith Thurman, who you expect to be the best Keith Thurman that you've been seeing over the years?
You know what, like I've mentioned before, I think overall in the fight, my skill, my power, and my will outshine all of these obstacles that I have to get through to get a victory against a champion like Keith Thurman. So I'm just going to plain out simply win.
All right, very good. I wish you good luck, Josesito, and I'll look forward to seeing you Saturday night.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from John Cutney from Breaded Boxing. Please go ahead.
Oh, hey, guys. Josesito, so you've been in a heavy underdog before. Sometimes it's gone well for you. Sometimes it hasn't. Can you tell us about your mental preparation for the fight?
I've had a great preparation. I've been training in the training camp, actually the same training camp that Mikey Garcia trains for his fights. I've had everything has gone great. It went perfect, so I can't complain about training camp. The road here hasn't been just this training camp. It's really been, a 3-fight training camp where I've been just working my way up into championship level with the help of Robert Garcia. He's helped me get into the best shape and best skills possible for a fight at this level. So I'm definitely championship level, and I'm going to prove that I'm championship material.
Great, thanks. So you've been in with some of the best in the world, including Canelo, the world's biggest star right now. Not all of those fights have gone your way, but does that overall give you confidence, having been in with that level of fighter going into this Thurman fight?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily gives me confidence. I would say this is not a place where I haven't been before. My back's against the wall, per se. I'm going in against a champion. It's not my first time. And I'm going against a tough opponent, world champion. So, it's all somewhere where I've been before. It doesn't.
He has shown himself to be
the game. I'm not. This is not a new feeling. I'm going in. I know exactly what I have to do, and I just got to go out there and execute.
Okay, thanks a lot, Josesito. Good luck.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Dan Avila from the Riverside Press Enterprise. Please go ahead.
Jose, how you doing?
How's it going, Mr. Avila?
Very good, very good. You've been in the game quite a while now. What are some of your favorite two fights that you've had that people would know about? What two fights do you like to talk about or remember in particular?
You know what? I've had several great battles against some warriors, some very good champions. I would say most recent it would probably be versus Canelo and Maidana. Those were great battles. I had a big disadvantage against Canelo weight-wise, but I showed my true grit, my will, and Maidana was a very tough opponent, caught me with a good punch, and, was stopped early. But, I think what I bring to the table now is adding a little more intelligence and skill to that will that I've showed in previous past fights.
And you're training now with Robert Garcia and Riverside. Who are some of the guys that you're sparring with up there?
Oh, I've sparred absolutely everybody in the camp. I'm sparring guys as heavy as fighting at middleweight. I really can name them absolutely everyone from 140 to 160 that Robert Garcia has in Riverside training camp. I sparred them all. They've all helped me. For this training camp, I've pretty much sparred every undefeated fighter that we have, and I'm definitely prepared. I put in the work, and now it's time to execute.
Sorry, my last question is, what's it like? I mean, you have about 5 or 6 guys that are all going to be fighting this weekend, including Ramirez, and you've got Virgil Ortiz, you got so many guys all in that same camp. What's it like where everybody's going to be fighting almost at the same time?
Well, I think when it comes down to the work in training camp, it's, we're all focused and mentally prepared for this moment. I know we all have different obstacles and going to different places in the world to fight, but we're all want the same outcome for each one of us. So we're all prepared. It's great being amongst other champions and other great undefeated fighters training for the same goal that we all have. So definitely motivating, and we've all prepared well, and we're all ready to get a W.
Thanks a lot, Jose.
All right, thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Bernard Fernandez from the Sweet Science. Please go ahead.
Yeah, obviously, you're expecting to see the best Keith Thurman, but apart from being off for 2 years and questions of ring rust, he's coming back from 2 injuries that led to him being off to his right elbow and to his left hand. When a fighter has those sort of injuries and has to come back from that, does that put a little seed of doubt in his mind, that he could get hurt again, particularly with the hand injuries, because a lot of fighters have, it's affected them and what they do if they have bad hands.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I'm not counting on that. I know that I've gone through the same thing, and, it's not quite the same the first fight back, or maybe even the second fight back, but, he's a champion, and, he's obviously ready to come back. He feels like so. He must feel well with recovery. I'm definitely counting on seeing a good Keith Thurman, a refreshed Keith Thurman from a 2-year layoff, and it's just like it can be a bad thing, it can also be a good thing. So that's something we can't know really till we're up in the ring.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question is going to come from Carlos Toro from Fightful. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Josesito, for taking time to talk to us. My first question is, obviously, you've known what it feels like to be out for a long time, and do you believe that, Thurman, him coming back, I know you're expecting him to be at his best, but in those first initial rounds, do you believe that that's the best time to take advantage of Keith Thurman while he's still trying to shake off the ring rust?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'm going in there with a smart game plan and, win round by round. But, we've worked on every aspect of our game, so we're prepared mentally and physically. So just going in there and then doing our thing. It's not necessarily going in there and trying to jump on them early, but I'm prepared to go as many rounds as it might take.
Do you feel like people are kind of overlooking you for this fight since Thurman has had the perfect record, has faced a lot of the top elite welterweights, and at one point was a unified champion? And if so, do you believe that? Do you have that added any motivation into the training camp?
I don't feel like people are overlooking me. People are overlooking me. It's shown. I don't mind it. Does it bother me? Not at all, really. It motivates me. It has motivated me. I'm definitely ready, and to whoever it might be a surprise to, I'm taking the championship belt this Saturday.
Lastly, of course, throughout your entire career, you've faced a lot of big names, from Canelo to Andre Berto, Marcus Maidana, and plenty of others. But in a lot of those fights, you didn't get the win, or you didn't get the result as you wanted. Have you kind of taken anything from those past big fights, and do you believe that now you are a better, or at least a different boxer compared to back then, and is that going to help you on Saturday night?
Yeah, for those that haven't seen me since some of those big fights that I had in previous years, you're definitely going to see an improved fighter. Overall, in my aspect of boxing, I had some good, tough battles against some good champions. But if you look back and look at my fights, you could say I was one step behind them, in whatever it might have been. When other opponents face those same fighters, those champions that I fought really displayed a lot more and was able to look a lot better against other opponents. But I'm definitely prepared. I'm ready to go. I'm anxious, and I can't wait to get this done.
Thank you, and best of luck on Saturday, Josesito.
Thank you, man.
Our next question is going to come from Cameron Buford from the LA News Observer. Please go ahead. Cameron, your line is open.
Hi, this is Cameron here. Josesito, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Sir, I got a question for you. A couple questions for you, actually. What concerns you most about Thurman going into the fight this weekend?
You know what? I'm aware of everything. I wouldn't say I'm just concerned of one thing, but I know he's obviously an undefeated champion for a reason. So he brings a lot to the table. He's skilled. He's strong. He has good movement. So I've just prepared for that. So I'm aware of everything that he brings to the table. I just got to go out there and execute my own plan.
Okay, sounds good. And you touched on people overlooking you for this fight in the previous question. What would you like boxing fans to know about you coming out of this fight on Saturday?
you know, that you can't really judge a fighter by his wins and losses. You know, I've had some tough defeats and some close defeats, you know, but wins and losses aren't everything. I'm a better fighter than I've ever been, and I'm at my best. So, you know, it doesn't matter how many bumps on the road I might have had throughout my career. I'm still going to be a world champion.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations, and good luck to you on the fight.
Thank you.
Okay, that's actually going to be the last question for Josesito, and then we're going to switch over to Keith Thurman. Josesito, do you have any closing comments?
No, I'd like to let everyone know that come Saturday night, you're going to see a great fight, a fight that you won't forget. And make sure you don't miss it, or you're there.